Hello everyone, how are you all tonight? Who have we got? We have got Caroline, Georges, Jay Brown, Jeanette, Rosa, Sue, Verona. How are you all tonight? Hi Sue. I think we've got a fantastic lesson tonight. So Bridget, I believe, is going to be doing hand evaluation. So I'm really looking forward to that. For anyone new, I think I recognize everybody, but for anybody who's new, just please go ahead and say hi, introduce yourself, let us know where in the world you are. It's a very welcoming group, and our teacher is most encouraging and very humorous. So we're all on this journey together, and it's your participation that makes LearnBridge Online what it is. So if you've got any questions throughout the lesson, go ahead and put them in that chat window. It's really useful for those people who can't join the live stream with all of us, if we can ask questions, because then when people watch the recording, they will be able to have the value from the questions as well. So for technical issues, if you have any issues tonight, there's a couple of things you can do. You're all familiar with this, but I'll just let you know. So leave it a moment to see if it's an internet connection issue that irons itself out. You can refresh your browser tab, or if that doesn't work, close your browser tab down, go back to your original email invitation and click on the link again to re-enter. There's also a little LearnBridge Online support widget. If you click on that with any technical difficulties, if those other solutions don't help, then that will come through to me in the background. If you can click on there if you do have technical challenges, rather than typing about them in the main chat window, that just means we can all focus on the lesson. So let us get started. I just need to quickly do something. I seem to have Okay. Not as good as it should be. Hi, Bridget. Bridget, can you see me okay? Yes, okay, excellent. All right, I will start the recording. Just takes a few moments to tick over. Okay, welcome along everybody to another fantastic lesson here at LearnBridge Online. A big welcome to those on the live stream, also those people who are watching the recording afterwards. Also a very big welcome to anybody who is watching lessons for the first time. You're very welcome, and I'm sure you will learn a lot. So without any further delay, let us invite up our fantastic teacher. Welcome, Bridget.
Hi, can you see me okay?
I can't.
Something funny's going on, isn't it?
I know. It feels like I've clicked something.
So you can't see. What about now? Can anyone see me now?
See you now. I can't see me, but that's okay. You don't need to see me.
Okay, and when everyone is seeing me, am I stilted or are you seeing me normally? I'm just wondering if it's what's going on, whether it's my end or Caroline's end. I'm not freezing or anything, am I? So I'm okay.
I think you're okay.
Okay, well, look, as long as I'm okay and people can see me, I think that we're good to rock. Okay, thanks, Verona. That's lovely. And Verona's just said that she's got a pair of these scales, which is really interesting. I don't know much history about them. Verona, do you actually use these scales? I mean, they're gorgeous looking things. I sort of put them on because I love this idea of evaluation and sort of weighing things up. But I just found a picture of these scales online. But they're lovely, sort of olden day grandparent scales. But let me pop me up here, and I will just put me on this side. And I wanted to chat to everybody about hand evaluation. So hand evaluation is obviously a really big topic. And it's something that a lot of it is judgment. Judgment is such an interesting part of bridge. Some people like to think that judgment is something you either have or you don't. I personally disagree with that. I think judgment is something that you can learn from experience, and your judgment will get better and better the more you play bridge, especially if you use your grey matter to sort of try and process things and learn from your mistakes and try and work out exactly what's going on. So work on your judgment in bridge. It's a big skill, and it's a huge part of the game. So the judgment we're looking at today is using your judgment with hand evaluation. First thing I want to talk about is the system of high card points. So, I mean, bridge has been around for a long time. I think actually bridge itself is maybe around from about the 1920s, but it's derived from a number of games. I think it's originally from Russia, I think, but there's so many sort of games like bridge. And but once bridge, the actual game, became established, the way of evaluating your hand using this high card point method with the aces, 4, kings 3, the one we're all familiar with, queens 2 and jacks 1. This was just a rule of thumb way to try and look at how good your hand is. It's not a perfect tool. It's just a way of evaluating your hand. And I think it's kind of interesting. Like I'm sure a lot of you play other card games as well. I mean, if I'm playing whist with my family, I pick up my hand. It wouldn't occur to me to try and put any sort of it's too big a word for me this time of morning. It wouldn't occur to me to try and add my hand up to value it. What I basically do when I play whist is I pick up my hand and I think, oh, I like this hand. I've got lots of big, red honor cards. I've got lots in a suit. So I'm looking at my hand evaluation from a very instinctive way rather than trying to do it in a very, very logical way. Bridge is probably one of the only games, I think, where you're putting some sort of number system on evaluating your hand. And it seems to work because people have kept using this system. I mean, over time, a lot of people have come up with slightly different ways of evaluating your hand. So you'll hear some people come up with different methods of taking points off for this, adding points for this, and it can all be quite complicated. And the problem is, and I'm sure you're all with me on this one, when you pick up your hand at the bridge table, you don't want to have to sit there for sort of half an hour adding and subtracting and trying to work out and remembering. It becomes too complicated if you've got a too complicated system for evaluating your hand. So one of the advantages of the aces of 4s, kings of 3s system is it's simple. We can all learn that and then work with that. So it's a good system. No one's managed to find a better system for it than giving these high card points, even though they've tried. And everybody in the world seems to kind of use this system. But it is a fairly rough guide for evaluating your hand. And you should always start from this thought that, yep, I've got these high card points, but really, let's think more about this hand to try and process how good the hand is. Has anybody, by the way, actually used any other systems? Has anyone got any other systems that they have used for evaluating the hand? And if they do they find them complicated? I would love to hear. So do let me know if you have got another system. Rosemary says no. I mean, high card system is all I have ever used. I've never tried to sort of use another system. First thing I want to point out, and we all know this, but the problem with the high card point count is that it doesn't put those high card points into context. And we all know that, like, if you have a 12 count, not all 12 counts are the same. So these two fellows here, for instance, could both weigh 12 stone, and they're two completely different kettles of fish. Like, you look at them, they're entirely different beings, but they might both weigh 12 stone. In a funny way, that's a bit like a hand evaluation situation. So you shouldn't just look at the weight. It's important to look at the big picture. And like all things in bridge, it's more complicated than it seems, but there are some things you can think about that will help you evaluate your hands here. So firstly, going right back to the points, what are they really worth? So even if you're looking at the normal high card point system, aces are probably a little bit undervalued. It's quite good to think and remember that aces are probably actually worth a little bit more than 4. 4 is probably just a little bit of an undervaluation. It's more like a 4.5. I can remember when I first started playing bridge, I heard somebody say that they'd picked up a 12 count and it had 3 aces. And she said, oh, I've got aces and spaces. And I thought, okay, aces and spaces, I'll remember that. And then I was talking to it about it with this a brilliant player, a world-class player. And he said, what's she talking about? That's insane. Aces are great things. If you've got 3 aces in your hand, you have 3 tricks in your hand. Aces are brilliant. They're very, very good things. So if you picked up a 12 count with 3 aces, that's good. It's better than picking up a 12 count with scattered values in that 12 count. The 3 aces would be a good thing. Kings are probably worth about 3. We probably got that about right. Queens, on the other hand, are worth a little bit less. Like, they're not really worth the full 2 points. It's probably more like 1.5 points, 1.75 points. Jacks, again, they're actually overvalued. 10s and 9s, on the other hand, are undervalued. So 10s and 9s are worth something and often get missed in this big picture. But 10s and 9s can be valuable cards. And I'm sure all of you have actually realized this. You'll be playing out a hand and your 10s and 9s will end up making tricks and come to the party. So 10s and 9s can be good. Good intermediates are very, very good things. 8s even sometimes can be good things. So positive features when you first look at your hands. I want to go right to that first thing. You're sitting at the table, you pick up your hand and you look at your hand and you think, is this a good hand or not? What sort of hand have I got here today? So distribution, huge. So shape is more important than points. When you're using this high card system, we get so point focused, we think about points, but shape is more important than points. A very shapely hand is extremely powerful. Sometimes you have these massive shapely hands with hardly any points, but they can be very, very powerful hand. Any hand like a 6-5 shape, 6-5 come alive. You might have heard that expression. 6-6 shapes, incredible. 7-6 shape, unbelievable. Like, would be so powerful regardless of how many points you have. So shape is huge. Distribution. So the classic 4-3-3-3 shape is nowhere near as exciting as a shape with like a 5-card suit in it. So even a balanced hand, if it's got a 5-card suit in it, that's more powerful and more useful than a 4-3-3-3 shape. And 2 4-card suits in a hand, also really important. So if you had like a 5-4 shape, 5-4-2-2 is a good shape, having those 2 long suits. Next thing is combined honors are nice things. When you've got honors together, it increases their value. You're more likely to make tricks when you've got combined honors. They're not standing vulnerable alone in a suit. When they've got another honor with them, they've got some sort of support and they're going to be much more likely to make tricks. Honors and partners suits, also a very good thing. You want your hands to gel. So in bridge, it's a 2-handed game. You're playing your hand and your partner's hand. You need those hands to fit together to have a good hand or a good combination. Nice intermediates, a very good thing. So the intermediates are our 10s, our 9s, our 8s, and sometimes our 7s. Those cards can be very, very powerful. Aces are great. We love aces. We've already talked about those. They're worth more like 4.5 points. Aces are really good things. A long spade suit is also a really good thing. If I pick up a hand and I've got a long spade suit, even if I don't have that many points, I think this is useful because the spades are so disruptive. If you open a spade or overcall a spade, it takes away a lot of space from the opponents. So if I've got a long spade suit, I also like that hand. Judith has said, did you mention a 4-4-4-1 shape not to open? Yeah, 4-4-1 shapes are also a bit of a pain. So a 4-4-1 shape is not as good as it looks on first appearance. So you tend to downgrade those as well. The 4-4-4-1 shape, as we all know, is horrible to bid. You end up lying to your partner in some way. You're always lying about something. You either end up lying about your point count because you have to reverse, or you can't reverse, or you end up lying about the shape of your hand because you're bidding one suit and then another. So promising 5 in the first suit and then 4 in the second. So they're awful things, 4-4-4-1 shapes. Some people even recommend not opening a 4-4-4-1 shape when they've got 12 points. I'm not of that school. I tend to open 12 points with a 12-point hand, but 4-4-4-1 shapes are not as good as they sometimes look. Sometimes they are great though, right? Because sometimes you'll have a 4-4-4-1 shape and you open your suit and your partner has one of the majors, especially if you've got your 2 4s and 2 majors, and then suddenly you can count your shortage. So they're volatile. 4-4-4-1 shapes are volatile, but don't think of them as great things. Think of them as potentially dangerous things as opposed to good things. And length in major suits is a good thing. So Caroline said, can you sometimes give an expo on reversing? And we should definitely do a bit more work on reversing. I have got a lesson I talked about reversing, and I think it was probably late last year. I think we did some lessons called, oh no, it might have been beginning of this year, reversing into the new year. So you could always go back and look in the LBO library and have a look at some of these reversing lessons. And also I'm going to cover it again at some stage as well, because it's so important to go through that reversing idea. So negative features when you first look at your hand. So this is our 4-4-4-1 shape. So boring hand shapes are a negative feature of your hand. If you've got those very flat shapes or 4-4-4-1 shape, then that's not really a great hand shape. If you've got honors and short suits, so short suits are the suits that we have fewer cards in. So honors standing alone in a short suit are not very powerful. That's not a good thing. Bad intermediates like 2s, 3s, 4s all over the place, they're just not really going to make any tricks unless you can get through them through length. Whereas, like we said, sometimes 10s, 9s, and 8s will come to the party, and they'll be very useful for you. Lots of queens and jacks, that's what we call a quacky hand, hence picture of the duck. So if you've got lots of queens and jacks, it's not so good. It's unless you're lucky and the hand gels with partner, they tend not to be very powerful hands, the queen and jacky hands. Singleton honors, also not very good things, unless it's the ace. A singleton ace is fine, but a singleton king, a singleton queen, they're often wasted values. They often just get killed by the opponent's high card. Having a singleton honor and partners suit, not so bad because it might fit together, but a singleton honor generally is not such a good thing. So downgrade your hand a bit for those singleton honors. And minors, the same thing. But as we know before, they're easy to overcall. They don't get the point. So minors are not as good as having majors. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is take some hand examples. I want everyone to engage, look at these hands. We're going to talk about which one is better and why. First one, we've got hand A and hand B here. So regardless of whether you're playing a weak or strong no trump here, out of these two hands, just count up the points, have a look at the shape, and just think about which one you think is better. So Rose saying no hand. Can everyone see hand A and hand B here? Someone just let me know that you can see it okay. Cool, thanks, Sue. Can you see it now, Ro? Verona can see it, Jeanette can see it, great. So we've got hand A and hand B here. Have a quick look at these two hands and think about which one you prefer out of these two hands. A or B and why. So the hand shape is the same. You've got a 2-3-4-4 shape for both hands. You haven't got a 5-card suit anywhere. And you've got the same point count for both hands. But one hand is definitely better than the other hand. So I would be looking at these hands and thinking, hand A, in its 2 4-card suits, has got the honors bashed into those 2 4-card suits. And that's a powerful thing. Having honors in your length is a really useful thing. Having honors in the short holdings, less useful and means you'll downgrade your hand a wee bit. So with hand B, can you see the queen and the jack in the spade suit? They might not be worth anything. Like they may not make a trick. Way less likely to make a trick than having the queen and the jack in the diamond suit where you've got some sort of length. So I love in hand A how I've got those 3 honors in the club suit and I've got 2 honors in the diamond suit. So for me, hand A here is by far superior to hand B. Having that queen and jack in that spade suit is awful. So the same shape, the same point count, but A's got those honors in the long suits. And long suits and honor cards are a great combination because you're much more likely to establish tricks with your long suits. And having honors cards and long suits is a really good thing. Whoops, says Verona. I know. Whoops, never mind. But as long as we're understanding these concepts, I hope that explanation helped you and you can see why hand A is better than hand B. Okay, let's try another one. So do the point count, do the analysis, the hand shape, how many points you've got, and have a think about whether you would prefer to be picking up hand C or hand D. So same point count. Having a 5-card suit is nice. Having 5 spades is very nice. Like length and spades is a good thing. So both hands have got 5-card suits. And both hands have got that length and spades. So that's nice. Both have got 2 long suits. So both have got a 5-card suit and a 4-card suit. They're exact same hand shape, in fact. But having a 5 and a 4 is a good thing. You've got 2 long suits in the hand. But, and everyone's getting this, well done, hand D is better because you've got the honours in the long suits. So you've got the ace and queen in D, in the spades, the king, queen, jack, and that lovely 10 as well. That 10 is extremely powerful potentially in the D suit. So with that club suit, once that ace is gone, you've got 3 tricks. It's really powerful. Whereas if those points were scattered in the other suits, you might not necessarily get 3 tricks from those points. But because they're in that club suit and you've got that lovely suit, you've got 3 tricks there. That's really powerful, those combined honours in your long suit. So D is lovely. Touching honours, says Caroline. Yep, that's right. They're really nice. So if you have a whole bunch of honours in your short suits and they're not in your long suits, to establish tricks, you normally need long suits, or long suits are great. But to set up, if you're looking at hand C, what you'd be hoping from your partner with hand C is to have a whole bunch of honours in your long suits. And because you've got no honours in your long suits, you need your partner to have a lot of honours in clubs and spades to establish clubs and spades. Whereas with hand D, you don't need your partner to have very much in spades. They can't have very much in clubs, but you don't need your partner to have very much to establish that length in the spade suit because you've got it. You've got those honours in that spade suit. So that's the point count, the shape are the same, but hands D has the points in the long suit, which is key about this example. So if partner of D has even 1 or 2 honours in the black suits, it's going to be absolutely fantastic and gel and create a put ticks. We don't want to create ticks. We want to create tricks. So, but hand D's got a potential for creating tricks. For the long suits in hand C to be useful, you would probably need your partner to have lots of honours in the black suits, which is a big ask, not very likely to happen. Whereas hand D, more likely to be able to set up and establish tricks with hand D. Okay, let's do another one. Which hand is better and why? So we've got a balanced hand again. This time we've got different shapes. So have a look, hand E, hand F. This is a bit of a trickier one, this one. Tell me which hand you would prefer to pick up out of hand E and hand F. Oh, I think everyone's getting this. Great. Yeah. Okay, everyone's coming up with hand D and everyone is right. How come? Why? Why hand D? What's so lovely about hand D? Same point count. It's really windy here. I might just shut the door while someone writes me a lovely explanation about why. Yeah, the long suit. Give me 2 seconds just to shut this door. Got wind blowing. So that lovely long suit in hand E really makes a difference. Got 5 cards and those wonderful intermediates as well. So hand F is not terrible, but hand E is better. Having that 5-card suit gives it the advantage. So how many points have we got? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points there. So if I had that hand and I opened a 1 no trump with that hand, say we were playing Acco and my partner invited, I would actually go up with that hand. I would go to 3 no trumps. So even though it's only a 12 count, that to me is actually a very valuable hand because I've got those lovely intermediates. I've got a 5-card suit and I've got the points in that 5-card suit. So that's an important thing to think about. If your partner invites you, you'll often be evaluating your hand up if you've got a 5-card suit with points in that suit. So even that's only a 12 count, I would treat that as being a good 13 if my partner invited. So the hands are the same point count, but a different shape, and that 5-card suit and those lovely intermediates really make a difference. Has anyone ever used the Kaplan-Rubens hand evaluation? I've talked about it before, but I really love the Kaplan-Rubens hand evaluation. It's the algorithm that someone's come up with. I guess I think it's a Mr. Kaplan and his friend Rubens came up with it. And you can type your hand into, if you just Google it, a little box will come up and you can type your hand shape into it with where your honor cards are, and it will tell you how much your hands are really worth. And it basically uses an algorithm to say, we want long suits, we want honors in those long suits, all those things we've talked about. We're looking for touching honors and we're looking for good intermediates. And it will basically say, actually, even though your hand is a 12 count, it's actually worth 14.5. So hand E, they said it was worth 14.5 using this Kaplan-Rubens website, using the algorithm, which I found really interesting. So it's a good hand and it's a good tool. And if you're ever practicing and trying to get your judgment right, I often do this. So I might be practicing on bridge base and I'll be doing like a bridge base challenge or just some random hands, and I'll see a hand and I'll think, that feels to me like a good hand. I like the length, I like the honors and the long suits, I like the touching honors. I'm just going to see what Kaplan-Rubens gives it, just out of interest, and I'll pop it in there. And it just helps me hone my judgment as well. And it will come up and say, this is worth this. And I think, wow, it's worth a 19 count, and I've only got 11 points. Wow, that's amazing. So it's quite a good little thing. So save that name, write it down, Kaplan-Rubens, and try it sometimes. Try maybe at the bridge club, you get a hand and you sort of think, I wonder how good that was really. And if you can pop it in, it will help you just fine tune some of your judgment on hand evaluation. I think it's a good tool. Okay, now we've got another one. Hand G or hand H. This time I think we've got the same points. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Yep, 13 points. And both hands, the same hand shape. Which hand is better and why? Who thinks G and who thinks H? Rosemary's thinking G. Patricia's going for H. George is thinking G. So don't forget, what we're looking at is honors in long suits and good intermediates. You want your honors in the long suits and you want good intermediates. So for me, G is the winner. I really, really like having the king and queen touching honors. And you've got 3 honors in that diamond suit. I count the 10 as an honor too. And you've got the 9 to support that 10. So that diamond suit in G is lovely. You've got the king and the queen together in the spades. So for me, G is the winner. And really, it's mostly about that diamond suit. It's about having those lovely intermediates and all the honor cards contained in that diamond suit. Make it a clear winner. High cards in G's suit. Okay, so this is another interesting thing. So we've just been talking about evaluating your hand when you pick up your hand and you look at it for the first time and nothing's happened yet in the auction. So you have no idea about anything else around the table. We were just looking at those hands as is when you pick up your hand in the auction. But clearly, during the auction, you get information and everything will have to be changed and be dynamic depending on what auction you've had around the table. So one thing I want to talk about is when the opponent's overcalled. Let me just pop up the whiteboard. I think I've got it here. So say, for instance, the auction has gone. First of all, can just someone tell me that they can see the whiteboard here? Just so I know that everyone can see. Great, Rosemary, thank you. Say there's been this sort of auction. There's been one spade. This is you here. And then the opponents here have come in and overcalled 2 hearts. I'm going to put the overcall in brackets. And your partner has bid 2 spades here. If you have the king of hearts in your hand as one of your honor cards, is that now worth more or worth less? So you've opened a spade. The opponents have overcalled 2 hearts. Your partner supported your spades, and you might be thinking about raising to 3 spades or going to game. But how do you feel about your king of hearts now that there's been this overcall? Yeah, George is saying you feel like it's worth less. Anyone else think it's worth less? And why? I agree with George here. It's worth less. But the reason it's worth less is really quite logical. Like when this person overcalls, they've overcalled with something. They haven't got the king. They've probably got something like this to make an overcall. And actually, you'd really rather have 6 as well. So they've probably got 5 or 6 hearts to probably the ace queen or maybe even the ace queen jack. People overcall at the 2 level because they've got something decent and they want the lead in that suit. That's why they're overcalling. So they've probably got something like this. So if this person ends up declaring this hand, they're going to lead up towards the queen and they're going to finesse your king. And if you're the declarer and you're playing this, they're going to try and lead through your suit. So this king, the chance of this king making a trick is very low. It's unlikely that that king is going to make a trick. So you basically now should devalue your hand by about 3 points because there's been this overcall. So putting it in context of what's happening around the table and where the other high cards, you know that king is probably not making a trick suddenly. So because there's been this overcall on your left, you should devalue your hand now. So look at where your honors are placed in context. So having honors in the opponent's suit, if the opponent is on your left, is a bad thing because they're sitting under their suit and they're going to try and finesse that honor away from you. Compare that. Let's switch it around and give a slightly different option. Say instead you've got this sort of option. 1 spade, pass here, partners bid 2 spades, and now this person here bids 3 hearts. And again, you've got the king of hearts. How do you feel about your king of hearts now? Do you feel differently about it than before? So it's the person on your right who's overcalled now. How do you feel about it now? Rosemary saying you feel okay. Judith saying yes. You feel much better about it. And the reason you feel much better about it, in fact, you feel good about it, is this king looks like it's going to make a trick. So we can actually give him a smiley face now rather than a sad face. This person will have overcalled with something. They've overcalled at the 3 level, almost certainly got 6. So if you're the declarer, you're going to be playing up towards your king. So it looks like this king is going to make a trick. And if you're in defense, they're going to try and finesse that queen. So if there has been an overcall by your right-hand opponent, that's a good thing. This king actually goes up in value, unless you think it's going to get roughed out. But this king is going to go up in value rather than down in value. So having the overcaller on your right is a very, very different situation from having your overcaller on the left. That's a key point. So trying to think what's happened in the auction and where now your honors are placed in the context of what's happened within that auction. Let me just take you back to these slides, which are here. Another thing to think about in the auction is if your partner has bid a suit. If your partner has bid a suit and you've got honors in their suit, even though your honors started off being in a short suit, they suddenly get upgraded. So you might pick up your hand and see the honors in your short suit and think, okay, that's not great. We talked about this in the lesson. Honors in short suits are not a very good thing. But if your partner then goes and bids that suit, then honors in that short suit are basically no longer in a short suit in the context of both of your hands. Because your partner's bid it, they're combined between the 2 hands and they're no longer isolated and alone, those honors. They're going to gel with the honors or the length in your partner's suit. So that will upgrade them. Honors in your partner's suit are a good thing. Honors in partner's shortage are wasted. And I know we've talked about this before, but if you're looking to roughen the short hand, you want to rough little cards. If your partner's got a shortage in the suit and you're playing in trumps in another suit, what you'll hopefully be doing is roughing in the short hand. So roughing your cards opposite their shortage and getting some extra tricks. But if you're roughing queens and jacks, you're actually roughing values. So in a way, you're counting them twice. Having honors and partners shortage, don't want it. Having small cards opposite partners shortage, fantastic. That's definitely what you want. So think about where your partner, if you know your partner's got a shortage, have a look at where your points are opposite their shortage. If my partner has shown a shortage and I've got a whole bunch of honors opposite their shortage and I'm thinking about slam, I suddenly won't usually be thinking about slam anymore. I think it's kind of like I don't have those points. Those points have become irrelevant. Can you illustrate this on the whiteboard? Yes, of course, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Hold on a second. The whiteboard is a good tool. So let me just clear this one. So the honours in the short suit situation. So say we're playing in spades is the contract, and you have got lots of lovely spades here, and your partner has got lots of nice spades as well, and you have got 4 small clubs with no values, and your partner has got a singleton club, and then you have got maybe 2 here and 2 here. We can give ourselves some extra values. What have we got? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This sort of hand. So it didn't look that great to start off with. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But say your partner has got the king, queen, and hearts, and has got the ace. So we've got 4, 4. Partner's got the 4, 4, 4, 4, 1 shape. But see this hand here? Sorry, it's kind of messy. So this is spades here, hearts, diamonds, and clubs. This is actually fantastic, this hand. Like, how many tricks are you actually expecting to make with this hand? These combined hands. The combined point is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 here. 14 points here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 points here. So between the 2 hands, you've got 23 points. Say the partner, the opponents lead a diamond. How many tricks do you anticipate mating potentially here? It's always good to just go through hand by hand. In terms of the spades, how many tricks do you think you can make? Yeah, Patricia's saying it looks like 6. This looks to me like you're making slam a lot of the time, even though you've only got a combined total of 23 points. It's wonderful because you have got no points opposite your partner's shortage. So basically, you're only interested in 30 points in the pack here, and you've got a whole bunch of those points. Looks like as long you don't want the opponents to lead a trump, if they lead a diamond, it's fantastic. You'd grab the lead, then you would lose a club to create that void in partner's hand. And what you want to do is rough out 3 of those clubs. So if you can rough 3 clubs, you actually only need to rough 2 clubs because your heart suit has also got an extra trick in it with that king and queen. So basically, if the spades split 2-2, which is slightly more likely that you're going to make it, then you would make all 5 spades. You've got 3 hearts, 6, 7, 8, 2 diamonds, 10, 11, and then you can rough as well because you've got no values opposite that club holding. But say you took some of the south hand's values and put them into the club holding, then you're not going to be making the same tricks. It'd be like you were roughing the clubs, roughing your good cards. So in this situation, this could well make a slam because you've got no values opposite your partner's shortage. And it's a very, very powerful thing. When we also talked about honours in your partner's suit, so say you're just sitting there with a king small in spades, and when you picked up your hand, you didn't really like the king small in spades. It looked like it was a stranded honour. But if your partner bids spades, I mean, maybe your partner's got this in spades. So as soon as your partner bids them, you think, wow, that might just slot in nicely into this spade suit. And that king is incredible because it's going to help us make 5 spade tricks. So honours and partners suit are great. Even if partner didn't have something quite that good, maybe your partner just has that, it's still going to massively help because you've got 2 definite tricks. Then you're going to create an extra trick or 2 through length as well. So that card being put into here becomes a very powerful and valuable thing. So honours and partners suits are a good thing. So upgrading good hands. I love upgrading a hand. Sometimes I'll pick up a hand and it will be like a 14 count if I'm playing Akol, and it'll be a lovely 14 count with a really nice 5-card suit with my honours in that suit. And I think this is worth 15. This is not worth a 14 count. I'm not opening 1 no trump with this because I do not want my partner to pass with a 10 count. It's the last thing I want my partner to do. So if your hand is worth more than it looks like, you need to think, I'm going to treat this as if it's a 15 count, say. And same with responding to your partner. So look at your hand, think about how good it really is. Like, what is it really worth? Don't get blinded by the point count. Try and use your judgment and think, I know this point count business is just a tool for evaluating hands, but I've got other tools as well to evaluate the hands, which I'm going to add in with that toolbox and work out really how good is this whole hand. And if your hand is better than it looks like from purely the high card point and notice, then treat it as that better hand and treat it accordingly during the auction. And if you do this, you'll find yourself making contracts that other people won't be able to bid because you've really given your hand a proper judgmental value. You've thought about the hand and treated it as what it's really, really worth. Okay, let's pop over and look at some hands now and just talk about the hands and how we should play them. So I've just flicked over to Bridge Base. Someone give me the quick thumbs up. They can see Bridge Base here. And we can just have a look at some of these hands. Yep, Rose said she has. Cool. So with the south hand, so okay, good or a bad balanced hand, this one. It's slightly unbalanced. Is it good or bad? Would you open it in the first seat? Bad, says Caroline. Yeah, it's quite quacky. It's got a queen and jacks. You've got two long suits, which is a good thing. We love two long suits, but honours are not in those long suits. The honours are in the short suits, so it's nowhere near as powerful. So would you open this hand? And also, who has heard of the rule of 20? People talk about the rule of 20 a lot. I might just quickly take you to the whiteboard and have a quick chat about the rule of 20 first. So the rule of 20 is another rule of thumb you hear about in bridge, which is a useful thing. But the rule of 20 is a way of trying to sort of work out sometimes whether you should open your hand. I think I've talked about it in this lesson before, but let me just quickly go through. The rule of 20 basically says if you're thinking about opening your hand, if your length of your two longest suits, so say you had a 5 and a 4, which is 9, plus your point count equals 20 or more, then you should think about opening the bidding. So it's one of these rules of thumb, which is giving you an idea of how to push a hand upwards and evaluate it more and think about opening the bidding. And what it's trying to do really is look at shape. So if you're meeting the rule of 20, it's taking account of your hand shape and saying if you're, the length of your two longest suits, you've got a 5 and a 4, and you've got an 11 count, then you should think about opening the bidding. But it really does need to be put in context of where those honor cards are. So this hand meets the rule of 20 because you've got a 5-card suit and you've got a 4-card suit and you have got 11 points. But I would never open this hand, even though it meets the rule of 20. I really, really don't like the fact that I have got those honors in those short suits. I mean, if you open the bidding here, what's going to happen? You're going to open a club. It's going to be passed by a west. Partner's going to think, hey, my partner's opened the bidding. I've got a 13 count. So partner's thinking, we're going to game. Absolutely. Partner's thinking game is on. I wonder what strain we're going to be in. She'll be thinking maybe it's going to be hearts, maybe it's going to be no trumps, maybe spades, but definitely game. She'll bid a heart. Then you can't bid your diamonds now. So someone's question earlier, you cannot bid 2 diamonds here because that's a higher ranking suit at the 2 level. It's forcing partner potentially to come back to clubs at the 3 level. That would be a reverse. To do that, you would need 16 points or more to bid a higher ranking suit at the 2 level. You can't pass because your partner's unlimited with that 1 heart bid. Your partner's not a passed hand. Your partner might have a 19 count. The last thing you can do is pass. Your partner may never speak to you again. What are you going to do? I mean, you have to rebid those ghastly clubs. And then you'll be thinking, oh, maybe I should have opened a 1 no trump. But you have to rebid those clubs. And then partner's going to, partner knows you don't have 4 spades because you would have bid 4 spades if you had it. So partner's going to think, well, my partner's got the clubs covered. I've got diamonds. I've got hearts. So partner's probably just going to either bid 4th suit forcing or might just bid 3 no trumps. And horrible. You're in a contract which is not making. Whereas if your partner had been allowed to open the bidding, you would probably just end up in a part score somewhere. Here's the double dummy, which people are often asking how to do. So you just go to show double dummy. This is on a spade lead. It's particularly terrible. You're down 3. So this situation, even though it meets the rule of 20, you've got the honors in those short suits. Yuck. Don't open that hand. It's a nasty hand. Let me just move this over slightly. Okay, let's try this next one, which hopefully is a bit more agreeable. This is an 11 count again. Sorry, partner, says Patricia. Yes. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to me, partner. I just had a rush of blood to my head. I should never have opened it. So this hand, very different. You've got a 5-4-3-1 shape again. It meets the rule of 20. And not only does it meet the rule of 20, but you have got those honor cards packed into the long suits, which is just lovely. So this time, everyone comfortable opening a spade. You've also got a spade suit as your long suit, which is gorgeous. It's a really good thing. You've got lovely hearts, great intermediates like the 10 and the 9 of hearts are really nice as well. So this one wouldn't even occur to me to pass. I'm thinking definitely opening this. I love it. So one spade here. Okay, what should North do? What would be North's bid here? And it does depend on, what sort of level of bidding you're at. But there's a lovely bid North bid could make here. 4 spades is one option. You could just slap down 4 spades, saying, I'm really happy playing 4 spades. 2 spades, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is an underbid. 2 spades is like 6 to 9. It's just like a little bit of something. I don't really want to go anywhere unless you've got a huge hand partner. So don't forget that singleton is really valuable from North's hand. They've got a fit in their partner's suit. They've got 4 card support for their partner. And they've got a shortage. A shortage is worth about 3 points. And they've got a long suit. 3 spades, I think it's a bit of an underbid too. Like for me, that shortage is huge. So when I'm sitting there with a 4 card support for partner and 9 to 11 points, I'm going to splinter. I love splinters. I'm basically jumping to the suit I've got the shortage in and saying, I've got 4 card support for you and I have got a shortage in diamonds. That's your splinter bid for you. So it's about 9 to 11 points. Any more than that, you would actually go through Jacoby. It's about 4 card support and 9 to 11. If you're more like a 12, 13 count with a shortage, then you start by going through Jacoby. This is a style thing, but this is how I play it. And I really like playing it like this because when I see my partner splinters, I know that she wasn't good enough for Jacoby, but she has got 9 to 11 and 4 card support. North knows that South has either got 5 spades. If you're playing 5 card major, she'll always have 5 or more spades. But if you're playing Echo, she's either got 5 spades or she hasn't got 5 spades. It's because she's got 4 and a big balanced hand. So it looks like you've either got a 9 card fit or your partner's got a bigger hand with a 4 card fit, both of which are going to be fine. So 4 diamonds here, saying I've got 9 to 11. South, it's fantastic. She's got no values here opposite her partner's shortage. She might, 10, 11. She's got to think my partner's got 9 to 11 points, and then she's going to start placing them in those suits. So her partner wouldn't splinter with an honor and a shortage. So her partner's points are in spades, clubs, and hearts. So she'll be thinking, is there any way that we could make slam here? So if her partner had the ace of clubs, 8. So say if her partner had the ace of clubs, ace of hearts, it's 8, and the queen of spades, it would be on probably on a heart finesse. So it feels a bit light to make a slam. There'll be some hands with 9 to 11 that will make slam opposite this South hand. But I think it probably would be more hands that wouldn't. I would probably be a bit conservative with the South hand and think maybe I'm going to miss slam occasionally if I get a perfect hand and just bid 4 spades. And 4 spades, you can see, is a nice contract. 4 spades is doing well. But definitely opening with that South hand, and that North hand opposite the South hand is a very good hand, and it's worth a splinter. Splinters are good ideas. They're basically saying my hand is worth going to game, and just so you know, I've got a shortage here. It's worth telling your partner that information. Okay, let's try another hand. Okay, so we're going to chat about what you would do if you were playing either a weak no trump or a strong no trump here. Rosemary says, if partner doesn't play splinters, would you use Blackwood? It is tricky if your partner doesn't do splinters or Jacoby. It's tricky to use Blackwood because you don't really know the value of your partner's hand. I probably wouldn't because South Ham wasn't that powerful potentially, and you don't quite know what your partner's got. So Blackwood, you tend to use Blackwood when you have more information about the hands and you know you've got first or second round control and all the side suits. So this is a good or a bad hand. So how many points and how would you rate it? Got great intermediates, like amazing intermediates. You've got one pesty 2, but other than that, your next lowest card is an 8. That diamond suit is lovely. A really, really nice diamond suit. It's a good hand, says Sue. It really is a good hand. So this looks like 12 to 14 if you're playing Alcohol 1 no trump, but to me, this is too good. This is too good for a 1 no trump opening. It's worth more than that to me. I would be thinking, if I open this 1 no trump and my partner's got like a balanced 10 count, he's going to pass it, and we could make 3 opposite a balanced 10 count. And if I were playing strong no trump, I would think I'm opening this 1 no trump. So if I was playing strong no trump, which is opening 1 no trump with a 15 to 17 count, I would open this hand 1 no trump. But if I'm playing Alcohol, I would open 1 diamond, planning to rebid this hand as a 1 no trump rebid, showing 15 to 17. I'm upgrading this hand. It's too good to just open a weak no trump Alcohol because your partner's going to pass. And you can see that would actually happen here. Like if you open 1 no trump, this person is going to think 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, flat 10 count. 1 no trump's going to be fine. My partner should make it nicely and pass. Whereas if you take your new upgrading tools and you really think about how good this hand really is, don't forget your 10s are worth probably half a point each. And you've got that long suit. This is worth more than your normal 14 count. So here, I'm going to open 1 diamond with this. What's North going to do now? One heart. Okay, so now South sticks with her original conviction that her hand is worth a 15 count. So 1 no trump. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel ashamed about doing this. Have faith in your valuation. Your hand is worth a 15 count. So treat your hand like a 15 count. And no need to even apologize to partner if it goes wrong. So then your partner's going to do what? 3 no trumps. Okay, without putting on the double dummy, is it going to make? Let's pop the ace of clubs down. Looks like a very normal lead. Is it going to make 3 no trumps? Yeah, Judith says her bidding is very quick. It's good to think about your bidding and not be too reactive. And I do the same thing sometimes. I make a bid quickly and I think, oh, that was just too quick. I was too quick to bid then. Like last night I was playing a hand and my partner overcalled something and I didn't have very many points. I had sort of a 7 count. And then I thought, oh, was I just too quick to pass? Maybe I should have taken more time there to really think about my points in context of my partner's hand. And I was a bit too quick to pass. I thought, oh yeah, boring 7 just passed. And then afterwards I thought, oh, maybe I should have actually done something. And it was kind of marginal, but you can sometimes be too quick with bidding, and it's worth to stop, pause, and really think and slow yourself down with the whole bidding process. Okay, let's count these tricks. Judith can't stand not opening. That's something you've got to get better at then, Judith. You cannot be one of those people who has to open every hand. I mean, I know exactly what you mean. It feels a bit like you want to be the person to unwrap the Christmas present, but sometimes you have to. I mean, one hand before you shouldn't be doing it. And I do know what you mean. I mean, I've taught people before who will just find themselves desperately trying to upgrade the most flat, boring 9 count to try and open. You say, no, you just cannot open this one. You can't open this one. You just got to get joy from the other side of bridge. You've got to get joy from the defensive side of bridge and the bidding side of bridge and resist the urge to open bad hands. So getting back to this hand, though, it looks like we've got 4 club losers off the top. But after that, how are things going to go? Yeah, 9 tricks. So they're going to take 4 clubs, and then you're going to get 5 diamonds, 3 spades, and the ace of hearts. So 3 spades, 1 heart, no clubs, and 5 diamonds. So you're making 3 no trumps on this board. And if you were playing Ecco, and you opened this a diamond and bid a no trump, or if you're playing a strong no trump and opened this 1 no trump, you're going to do very well compared with other people in the room, because other people in the room will not take time to process the hand properly. And other people in the room will have just opened this an Ecco 1 no trump, or would have opened it 1 diamond if they're playing a strong no trump, and then they're not going to find their game. So the people who have taken time here and not bid too quickly are really going to reap the rewards of this hand. Okay, let's try another one. So we've got North opening this time. So Rosemary said, last night I had 6 hearts, 5 clubs. Wow. 6-5 come alive. I love that expression, 6-5 come alive. Bidding went 1 heart, 1 spade, then rebid 2 clubs and partner passed, as I thought 2 clubs was forcing for 1 round. So 1 heart, 1 spade, and then you went 2 clubs. It is forcing. Your partner should have your partner can't pass that second suit, so she should have bid something else. No, sorry, what am I talking about? No, no, she can pass the 1 club, but if you were forcing to game, sorry, Patricia, I was thinking, I wasn't processing it properly. So if it has gone 1, so Patricia's asked about a 6-5 hand shape. So it's gone 1 heart by her, 1 spade by partner, 2 clubs by her. So 2 clubs her partner can pass. It's very unlikely her partner will pass that. It would mean that she had like a few clubs with her and not many points. But if you wanted to make a game for us there, you would have had to have jumped, this Rosemary, you would have had to have jumped to 3 clubs to put a game force in with that hand. You would have had to think this hand is actually worth a game. If it's that powerful and that huge, you should have jumped to 3 clubs. It's possible also your partner should have made some attempt over the 2 clubs. So like for her to pass that, she's probably got, she hasn't got spades, she hasn't come back to spades, and she must have some level of clubs, but often you kind of do a courtesy board, courtesy raise as well. But if you could send me the hand and the points, Rosemary, I would love to see it, and we can talk about it a bit more. I would really love to see the hand if you can just send a message in so we can have a look at it. But on this particular hand here, what have we got? We've got 8, 9, 10, 11, a 12, 13 count. We've got points in our long suits. So 2 long suits, which are lovely. You've got some good intermediates. The 10 is really nice. So it's a good hand. I definitely would be picking up this hand thinking it's quite nice. You've got a lot of points in those black suits. So you're opening what? Yep, this is a 1 club opening. East can't do anything. Okay, so what about South? 1 spade. I'm not overcalling with that diamond suit. Okay, what should North do? So partners come back and bid 1 spade. And they know they've got a magic fit in the spades. They know they've got at least 8 spades between the 2 hands. Should they be upgrading their hand or downgrading their hand? And what bid should they be making here? So Caroline said, should North be counting their shortage? And yes, North should definitely be counting their shortage. They've got an 8-card magic fit in a major. So shortages are incredibly valuable. So that shortage is worth about 3 points. I'm definitely thinking it's a good hand. Yep, good. I think everyone's agreeing. 3 spades looks like a great bid. It's worth a 16 count, this hand. This is a really nice hand. So you're jumping to 3 spades to say, I've got good support for your partner. If you had an amazing hand, a hand that was worth 18, 19, you would just be bidding 4 spades here or splintering. But here you want to be in game if your partner hasn't got a minimum. Okay, now from South's perspective, what's South thinking? She loves the fact that she's got an honor in her partner's suit. That's really fantastic. The King of Clubs in her partner's suit is a useful card. Should South go to 4 spades? Yep, they've got a 9 card fit in spades. All the honours are both in those 2 suits. So having a double fit is hugely important with in bridge. If you've got a double fit, look to upgrade your hands if you know you've got a double fit. Okay, so 4 spades. I'm with you all here. I think 4 spades is a very good idea. So you bid in 4 spades here. And what would they lead? They've got a tricky lead, haven't they? I think they're probably, I don't know. I mean, don't want to lead away from an ace in a suit contract. So I'm not leading the diamonds. I would be nervous about leading away from the king, jack of hearts. And I think I probably would lead a trump. Yeah. I've actually also realized that I was a bit too quick in my judgment of West's hand right back here. I'm going to quickly come through to this point here. So I said that I wouldn't overcall, but actually I would get involved here. I was not looking at it properly. In this situation, West has actually got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, and they're not vulnerable, and they've got both of the other 2 suits. So actually, I probably would make a double here to say I had the other 2 suits, even with only 10 points, because I want to get my heart suit across. So that's kind of an interesting situation. So I would probably double there to say to my partner, I've got the other 2 suits. We're still getting the same bid here. And then this person wouldn't. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Would they compete? They might. They might get involved. So you might end up with quite a fun auction here. So then they might bid 4 hearts, and then you'd get 4 spades here. And let's have a look what we've got. 4 spades. So even though the combined total between the 2 hands is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've got a 19 count between the 2 hands, and you are making, sometimes you're making +2, and you're at least making +1. So it's all about the shape and how these hands work together. So having 2 fits, really, really useful things to look out for. So please send me the hands, and please try and use some of these tools this week when you're playing bridge. Look out for honours and short suits, not good. Love, love, love honours in your long suits, and love length and shape is so important. Shape, more important than points. Oh, sorry, let's have a look what someone said. You don't lead away from king of hearts, says Judith. I do sometimes. It's just dangerous. It's a really dangerous and aggressive lead, but I do sometimes. But if my partner hadn't bid hearts, I would be nervous about doing it. Right. Well, hopefully we'll get to try some of these skills this week. Let me know how you get on. Got Caroline back, I think.
That was really interesting. Am I freezing again?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, good. It's been a bit jittery for me all night. But yeah, it was really interesting. I love those last 2 hands in particular. There's something really nice about feeling like you've got permission to use your judgment and, upgrade or downgrade. So,
yeah. And it's the difference.
I thought that was a really good.
Yeah, no, it's good. And it really, really is the difference between a normal player and a good player. Judgment. And you can learn judgment. You absolutely can. So you've got this brain, and using the brain will make you a good bridge player. So if you bother to use it, you'll really get the results.
Fantastic. All right. I'm going to be trying to use lots of judgment this week. So What have we got in store next week?
So next week, I wanted to look at some declarer play. And there's some really fun ideas sometimes when you look at a hand and you've got 2 hands and you're thinking, oh, God, what's the chances of making this contract? And you sort of assess it and think, oh, God, it's on this finesse, or is it going to work? But sometimes you can go through quite a logical process of trying to work out how to make the tricks in a hand. And it's called combining your chances. So I think that we might have a good look at that next week. And it's one of my favorite things doing it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll look forward to that. But in the meantime, thank you, everybody, for another fantastic lesson. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to Bridget for your great thoughts.
No, it was nice to see you. See you next week.
You too.
See you later.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.